Well, welcome to the semifinals of the DR21 Motor City Open 2025. First of two very exciting matches for you coming up here this evening. And I'm Nicole Bunyan, and joining me this evening for this first semifinal is all the way from New Zealand, Paul Hornsby. Welcome, Paul.
Nicole, good afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. It's great to be tuning in. As you say, a couple of great matches on the bill here.
Yeah, certainly. It's been some pretty intense squash so far in this tournament. There's been a lot of court time for some of the players, which we'll talk a little bit, especially in the next match. But these two, I think they could have an absolute belter, especially on the back courts. The rallies can go on even longer, so I think that we're going to see quite the, maybe not attritional isn't the right word, but quite the lengthy affair here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there, Nicole. It's in this day and age, it's quite unusual for players of this stature to be battling it out on a plaster court. So it's certainly going to be a factor. And as you say, we could be in some long rallies.
Well, on the right side of your screen, you can see Eain Yao. And Yao, he is the third seed here in this year's Motor City Open. 27 years old. He is from Malaysia. And he's had a pretty good little run through here in the first, or in the second round, but in his first match, he came through against Simon Herbert of England, 3-0. And then in the quarterfinal, he beat Baptiste Massotti from France, and that was 3-1 and over the hour mark. And it's worth noting that Massotti had a really, really big match against Rodriguez prior to that, so he will probably have been a little bit fatigued. So still quite the decent effort for them to have a 63-minute 4-gamer the next day.
Yeah, I think it's a big year for Eain Yao. He finished 2024 with a real bang. He won his Malaysian Open in his own backyard, beating Yusuf Solomon. Went on to Singapore the next week and played exceptionally well. He didn't play at the Tournament of Champions, did he? So this is his first event of the year.
No, it's an interesting decision. Some of the players, particularly in Yao's ranking bracket, they're opting sometimes not to play the platinum events because of the kind of the volatility of that first round. You can below you, or you can get a top 8 player. So it's quite it's a bit of a risk, you might say. Whereas here you can get more matches in. we've been seeing some pretty lengthy stuff so far in this tournament, as we were saying in the intros, Paul. And I feel like these first opening rallies, it's going to be a lot of backcourt play. Neither player is going to be looking to do anything risky early on.
Yeah, I completely agree. Both players are obviously pretty well prepared for this kind of thing. I know I can probably speak more about Eain, really, having watched a bit more of his more recent matches. Incredible athlete. Played an unbelievable match, I alluded to it earlier, against Victor Kwan in Singapore. It was something like 21-19 in the fifth. I've never seen a match like it.
Yeah,
but he was certainly
incredible.
Looked the fresher of the two, and Victor Kwan's obviously, he's not in bad shape either, but yeah, just completely ground him to a pulp. And he also turned up the next day to take Ali Farag to 4 games, so I don't think he'll shy away from a lengthy affair. Not seen so much of Cardenas play, I can't really talk from experience, but he's proven that he's capable against the very top players. Beat Joel Makin in El Guna last year, so he'll be up for it.
Yeah, he certainly will be. He's very sound. You can hear there's a pretty good crowd here as well, which is great. Good to hear that. Yeah, Cardenas, he's just had a couple of tough results, you'd say, in early 2025 so far. But towards the back end, I believe he won in Vancouver. That was I think that was a copper at the back end of last season, or last year rather. So he's had some good form and good performances, and he'll be looking to push up now into, probably, would you say that Cardenas is capable of getting to that top 15 bracket, Paul?
Well, I mean, based on some of the results that he's had, you've got to back him to have give it a good nudge. And one thing that I don't think we've mentioned yet is the fact he's won the last 2 matches against Yao, and they've both been in the last 12 months. So he'll be fancying his chances here big time. And yeah, I mean, it's, as I say, winning becomes a habit, doesn't it? If you can pick up a win today and try to create a little bit of momentum going into this second half of the season, then who knows? Most of the time he is the underdog on rankings at this stage of the event, so it's kind of a free shot at somebody like Eain, really.
Yeah, it is, but it's interesting what you said about the having that 2-love head-to-head against someone who's ranked higher than him. So this is a pretty good opportunity, isn't it? Great points up for grabs for Cardenas, and he's got the confidence advantage, and that is a good sign for Cardenas. Yao just forcing the kill from the back, right?
Yeah, just the body language as he came out of that shot just looked a little bit subdued, really, for me.
Yeah, that's a good spot from Cardenas. Had to bide his time throughout that rally, but forced the loose cross-court from Yao, and then just a good low-risk stun on that backhand side. Wow, and that's returned with fire, though. No interest in prolonging that rally from Yao. No,
you just sense that he was keen to get a point on the board. 3 very long rallies, all gone against him, so made short work of that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, Yao, as you mentioned, has incredible physicality, but I feel that in these early stages, it's been Cardenas that's actually been the more proactive of the two. And so, Yao, he needs to step up. He needs to take it on with Cardenas. Doesn't just want to be stuck absorbing like he is here. It's going to start to eat into the legs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just looking at the camera angle that we've got here, it feels like we're sort of almost got a bird's eye view. So you've got a great, you've got to get a great sense of how far forward each player is pushing.
Yeah,
the sense that Cardenas is a bit further forward, isn't he?
Yeah, he's having to make, he's making Yao go around him a lot, isn't he? Well, that was a good opportunity for Yao. Big opportunity missed, you have to say. Wasn't the best of drop shots from Cardenas, and a terrific winning position for Yao. Gone right into the tin. So Yao kind of struggling to find his short game early on here, Paul.
Yeah, there's been a couple of unforced errors, a little bit careless from the Malaysian. Any point that he's managed to stick on the board was a return of serve cross-court into the nick. He's going to need to just tidy things up here, because this first game could slip away from him. Cardenas looks very, very solid, nice and tight. Looks as if he's seeing the ball early. Bit of a spring in his step. Plenty of work down this backhand wall here. It's a place where Eain is often quite happy to set his stall out on that left wall, but Cardenas does have that little bit more urgency about him. He's throwing that left leg out and taking the ball early at the back of the service box. He's wanting to really take that time away from the Malaysian, not allow him to settle.
No, just like right on cue there it is, Paul. And that's allowing him to get further up in the court, start to initiate and add a little bit more variety in. Yeah, just not really being allowed to do much here, and really well contained by the Mexican. Cardenas just happy to roll the ball back down that backhand wall. That's a thunderous kill.
He's broken his strength, but it was a fantastic finish there on that forehand side. Took the ball super early. It was almost a half volley from the Mexican.
Yeah, I think that those are the sorts of shots on this backcourt that are going to be really effective, especially in the first game. The ball's still got a lot of life to it, so soft drop shots aren't really going to be doing the trick against guys that move this well. It's going to be more about finding the space, getting in those kills, like we've seen a couple of times from Cardenas so far.
Slightly better there from the Malaysian. That backhand volley drop shot just seemed to have a bit more purpose behind it, that shot. Opened up the space to attack the back right corner. A little bit more proactive. Bit of confusion over who was going to collect the ball there.
Well, interestingly, Paul, I actually mistakenly said this. I said it was a 2-love head-to-head lead for Cardenas. That's in fact incorrect. It is Yao that has the lead in the head-to-heads. However, by three matches to 2. However, both of those wins for Cardenas were last year, so they were recent. Whereas the others, we go back to 2023, 2022, and 2021 for Yao. And the other thing that's interesting about that is both of those matches have gone the distance, 72 minutes and 92 minutes for Cardenas. So, whereas the wins that went in favor of the Malaysian were much shorter, a lot more concise. So, Cardenas, he knows that he's going to be in for it here, but still, it's going to take a lot of confidence from having those 2 recent wins against Yao.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you've said there, the 3 matches that he's lost to Yao were long distant memory now, really. A lot's happened since then. And certainly in Cardenas's case, he's gone, he's made big moves, hasn't he, in this last year or 2.
Yeah, seems to be a good tactical matchup for him against Yao. Just looking at these early stages, he's doing a really good job of controlling the middle. That's a lovely touch. Paul, at what stage of the tournament would you say that the mental fatigue really starts to settle in? Obviously now we're in the semifinals. What sort of stage do you think that starts to become a factor for the players?
Well, I think it probably depends on the route through, really. The route through to the final and, that emotional drain that you've had. I'm just looking now. In the case of Cardenas, he came through a pretty tough second round match. That was against Nathan Lake of England. It was actually his first match of the tournament, but he did have to come from 2-1 down there, 73 minutes to get through in 5 games. But at the same time as that was taking place, there was the withdrawal of Diego Elias. So although he would have come off that first match probably feeling it was a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, he would have been very aware that the top half of the draw completely opened up and played Juan Vargas, the following round, quarterfinals yesterday, and came through pretty swiftly, to be honest, in 33 minutes. And now all of a sudden finds himself in the semi-final with a free shot at Eain Yao, who is beaten the last 2 times. I would say is going to be feeling pretty chirpy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is sort of it's just a massive opportunity for him, really. No pressure, and I'm sure he's brimming with confidence and sees this as a fantastic opportunity to stick some big points on the board. But having said that, he'll be focusing on nothing more than this next rally at this point in time.
Yeah, it's a good start as well from Cardenas. Bit of a late fight back now from Yao. He needs to make a move here.
Yeah, you're right. These next few points are, the big points now, aren't they? If Yao can take, let's say, 3 out of the next 4 points, he'll put himself right back in contention and look to steal this first game from the Mexican, who, as you say, had the dream start, didn't he? Oh, it was not far off, was it? Good to see Yao firing in a little bit more as this game's gone on, but well, that's 3 unforced errors from the Malaysian. That's really potentially what could make the difference in this first game.
Yeah, it's what gave Cardenas that early lead, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, the Mexican did have to work for those rallies, but they were rather easy errors by Yao's standards. Just shows how few opportunities he's getting, though, isn't it, Paul? Because he's having to force it. That margin is pretty low from Yao. Oh dear! Just as I say that, that's gone squarely into the tin from Cardenas. So a little bit of a miscue.
Yeah, it was a bit awkward, wasn't it? It came at a funny sort of angle. He planted his feet and then had to really compensate with his racket work, and even the very best players in the world are not going to get that right every time.
So the pace has gone up a little bit here.
Oh, it was there, wasn't it? Right on his strings. Didn't have to move a muscle there, Cardenas. Maybe just a little bit of a rush of blood to the head, because that would have been a huge point to stick on the board.
Oh, that was very slick from Cardenas.
Oh, that's a lovely drop from Yao. Good to see how tight that ball was to the side wall. Cardenas to absorb the pressure.
Paul, given the head-to-head, who do you think really needs to win this first game?
I would say Cardenas, really. I feel if he loses this first game, he'll be kicking himself, given the start that he had. And it'll just give Yao that little bit of a pick-up mentally. It'll give him a little bit of a wake-up call, but obviously 3 game balls now for Cardenas, so he's heavily favoured to take the first. I think Yao on recent form, if he can get his nose in front, he'll take some stopping. Definitely got better as this first game's gone on, and Yao.
Yeah, he has. It's just that late fight back. He's left it a little too late here. It's helped along a little bit with those 2 forehand errors from Cardenas, but he's just not really finding enough ways to put pressure on the Mexican so far. Just have a good tight counter drop from Cardenas.
It's a long rally.
Yeah, another player wanting to give an inch. That's a strong position.
Oh, that's good. Brilliant finish. Very good.
He's made 2 errors on those last 2 forehands. So this time, he was absolutely sure that one was going to go in. So 11-7. A pretty lengthy first game, as we expected. 21 minutes, and it goes the way of the number 7 seed, Leonel Cardenas. Well, it's the crucial 1-love lead for Leonel Cardenas.
Yeah, did well to close that first game out. He just got a little bit edgy on a couple of volleys towards the end. Just wondered if he was trying to get out of there a little bit cheap. But he managed to get the job done. And I do feel, Nicole, that the start of this second game is now really crucial for Cardenas. Just to turn the screw on Yao. He's not really looked 100% settled in out there, has he?
No, he hasn't, and that error from the back right is a bit of a telltale sign as well.
He does like that shot, Yao. He loves to sort of run that very straight backhand drop in, both out of the deep back corner and on the volley, and really steps forward to look to attack the next one on the volley, but it's no good. If you clip in tins, it's going to not fill him with confidence in taking it in there. Might become a bit edgy and stop using it even.
Yeah, and that's just going to help the confidence of Cardenas as well. It's barely been 30 seconds on the board here, and he's already got that little lead on the scoreboard, so that's just going to help his confidence continue to grow in the second. Just looks like Cardenas has an answer for everything that Yao's trying to throw at him. He's the one that's hitting the slightly deeper length. He's seeing the ball early, as you said, Paul, getting the ball on the rise. And then he's really happy just to neutralize when he's put under a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, you're right. Solid as a rock.
Wow.
Again, it's a stunning shot.
It really is.
So early.
Well, you noted it right in that first game, Paul, how Cardenas is looking to take the ball early on the backhand, like we see there, off the left leg. And what's even more impressive is he's able to get some attacking threat on those shots. You know, he's not just neutralizing it. We're seeing him actually taking some kills there.
Yeah.
Which means there's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
more
a fantastic
cover.
Yeah, definitely. It's great. It's quite a subtle skill, really, taking that ball so early, and it's not necessarily that it's hitting the ball hard. It's just hitting it very, very clinically, as you say. That sort of open stance straight kill reminds me a little bit of Gregory Gaultier.
Yeah, excellent example. It's very clean, very clinical. Yeah, it's a terrific bit of a masterclass in that open stance movement on the backhand side from Cardenas. Yeah, just being forced to respond time and time again. Yao taps his racket against the sidewall. He knows that that was a little bit of a saving grace for him. Well, Yao was very far away from that one, wasn't he, Paul? He was anticipating the cross court, or sorry, to the backhand. It's quite some distance away from that forehand drop. Paul, you watched Yao play quite a bit in Malaysia and Singapore, which you were commentating both of those events. Yeah. What did you feel that Yao was doing and executing when he was playing his best?
Well, I kind of mentioned it a few minutes ago with that work up and down the backhand wall. Seemed to be, it was almost like a slow burner, how he would kind of set his stall out that side and just be really, really solid and tight and containing his opponent. And then as the match wore on, it sort of almost drip feed in that really tough straight backhand drop out of that back corner. And he was just very, very solid with it. Didn't really make too many errors. He yeah, just made himself really tough to beat, to be honest. Obviously,
Yeah,
he's in great shape physically.
a lot about that backhand side, as you're saying, which he's not really being allowed to do much with at the moment.
Now, I think there's two things here. One is he's not seeing the ball particularly early, as well as I've seen him in the past. And a lot of that's down to the pace of Cardenas and how quickly he's seeing things and just dominating that middle area of the court. So that's one thing that's unsettling Yao. And then the second thing is that error rate that we've mentioned just doesn't look to be using that same confidence as I saw in him at the back end of 2024.
No, not quite executing on those opportunities. Just not really getting enough time in front of his opponent, is he?
No.
That's why a lot of those errors, they're actually coming from behind Cardenas, which is slightly more troublesome, you have to say, or worrisome rather.
See, that is a really solid and confident looking rally from Cardenas. The previous shot there, how he just sort of swooped into that front left corner and like that little casual topspin type drop shot, got it sticking to the side wall, but it just looks so free. He's playing with a lot of freedom and belief in his racket work. This movement is nice and silky as a result of that as well. Again, it's similar to that first game. In fact, it's identical in terms of the scoreline. Got off to a dream start.
Yeah, Yao's going to have to come up with some answers pretty quickly if he wants to find a way back into this. So at the minute, Cardenas, he's winning the length battle, and he's also winning the attacking battle. He's got the right balance of the right types of attacking shots, doesn't he? He's not opening up the court. That kill is working really well for him on both sides. Just saw it twice on the forehand side. So he's got a good sense of not only how to play his opponent, but also how to play the court. And, well, just too careless error coming in there now. But he does have a little bit of wiggle room to play with.
Yeah, he's got breathing space on the scoreboard, but he'll be, at the same time, have it fresh in his mind what happened in the first game, because it got a little bit close for comfort for him at the end. So he should really be looking at making this next rally very, very tough for the Malaysian.
Yeah, doesn't want to let Yao get any sort of momentum in this mid-stage.
Again, that's a beautiful backhand drop. That was average though. The follow-up, just click the side wall on that backhand drive.
Oh, he's onto that like a flash, Cardenas.
Yeah, nice. I was gesturing towards the referee. What do you think that was about, Nicole?
I think it's just that Yao felt that Cardenas stood his ground a little bit, but I mean, didn't really see anything untoward there. Ball was in the middle. Entitled to take your space, and crucially for him, he didn't clip the sidewall. Perfect execution.
Well, speaking of crucial, I felt like that was a must-win point for Cardenas. He just let a couple slip away from him carelessly. Right, look at the reaction there from Yao. Not impressed.
Yeah, it's a complete contrast of body languages, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, if he can get this game in the bank, the Mexican, it's going to be a big ask for Yao to turn this around.
You do have to feel for Yao, though. Every shot that he's putting in there to the front, it's coming back with interest from Cardenas. Like, that's a good backhand drop from Yao. And Cardenas, he's onto it early. He's lifting fantastically well. One thing we haven't really spoken about yet, Paul, is the difference in the sound and the hitting. I feel it sounds like Cardenas is the one that's hitting the heavier ball, you know, and he's getting a lot of reward from it as well, isn't he?
Yeah, see, you're talking about the pace that he's getting the racket head through the ball, and it gives it that little bit more of a penetrating flight as it's coming through to the back. Oh, he's gone for it. It was pretty high risk, that, from Yao. Rally goes on. Oh, and that is the poor miss. You can see there, that's hit the towel box. And those towel boxes don't look very tall to me. So that's probably an indication of how far off target that was from Yao. Ran away from him this second game.
Yeah, quite the ambitious attempt from Yao. 6 game balls for Leonel Cardenas to take this into a crucial 2-love lead.
Yeah,
just hanging on here. That's perfect, isn't it? Perfect width.
It's impressive, this. Really, really solid performance from Cardenas.
Yeah, he's got his house in order, the Mexican. At the minute, Yao is not even knocking on the door, so just 13 minutes for that second game, and it's Leonel Cardenas, the number 7 seed, who leads Yao by 2-0.
Cardenas is really jumping at the bit here. The referee had barely finished calling the score there before the ball came off his racket in that first serve.
Yeah, he desperately wants
Absolutely
this just to be a continuation of the first two games, doesn't he?
100%, yeah. That momentum that is created has just left Eain in the dust, really, especially in that second game. So can he keep his composure and keep that clarity of thinking, seeing the ball early? Doesn't want to try to get out of there too quickly. Keep making life very difficult for the Malaysian. Look at that for proactive squash. Brilliant work from the Mexican. Pure pressure.
Yeah, he just needs to keep going about. Oh, wow. That was incredible movement and touch from Cardenas. I mean, he is basically, he's almost about to foot fault. He's so eager to serve. Yeah, he's feeling good out there, you can tell. No hesitation with his short game. Just needs to keep going about his business, though. There was just one lapse in concentration in that second game, and he did well to reel that back in, just off of that cross-court nick attempt. But he's got the tactics right.
Yeah, it's a very nice cross-court kill there from Cardenas. You could see that Yao was in that general vicinity, but the angle and the dipping nature of the ball made it very uncomfortable for Yao. Didn't even make contact.
Well, we've gone back to the squash of the opening rallies in the first game here. Gone back to more of an attritional style, mainly deep based. But that's an excellent attack from Cardenas. Weathered the storm from Yao, who was trying to prolong that rally. As soon as the opportunity presented itself, there was zero hesitation from the Mexican.
Yeah, and it's good to see, Nicole. It's good to see. I was that's a little bit of a snatch from Cardenas, but it's good to see that he's prepared to engage in these long rallies and be patient, whilst also being on the hunt for opportunities to go in short. He's obviously got a huge amount of confidence in his racket today, but that's not an excuse to take on these shots when they're not necessarily there. So good to see he's being patient. Shows he's clear in his thinking. Oh, it's nicely played from Yao. Well, this is as close we've seen Yao get in the opening stages of a game so far. Staying with the Mexican, just 1 point behind now. Is there a way back in? But that's nicely tied it up. Nicely tied it up. Just deflects that ball back into that front corner nick.
Yeah, Yao's just clipping the sidewall too many times, isn't he, on his kills and also on his drop shots. Whereas Cardenas is getting the ball running in tight most of the time. That's better from Yao. But still, good width from Cardenas to get that past the volley of the Malaysian. Seems like such a subtle, but it's a crucial difference in the attacks, isn't it? It gives your opponent an angle when it hits the sidewall. Like, that's perfect. There it is. Right on cue from Cardenas. Volley drop, hits the floor first before the sidewall, and that just takes the pace right out of the ball. And even the speed of the Malaysian can't retrieve it.
He's just unraveling now. And yeah, a couple of seconds ago we were talking about him closing it down to 3-4, but it's quickly gone away from him again. Oh, that's poor Eric. You see by the body language from Yao, it's been a tough day at the office, and you've got to say, it's all credit to Cardenas, who's made himself very tough to get a point out of today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yao really hasn't found any answers for what Cardenas has thrown at him today.
Better. Nice drop. Lovely and straight. That's the sort of thing he wants to be doing. Setting up his stall there. In that service box area. Just move Cardenas up and down that side wall, but the ball has to stay nice and tight, which is something he's not managed to do for the majority of the match.
Well, he's going for it, Yao, isn't he? Seen a couple big winner attempts. That's a very, very good squeeze from Yao.
Very long rally, that, wasn't it? Very long rally. I was just thinking there, it was absolutely a must-win point for Yao. Try and get some sort of traction on the scoreboard in this third game.
Well, that is a tired and, well, perhaps not physically tired, but certainly a mentally tired error from Yao.
Well, those last two rallies have been a good few minutes between them, and they've shared the points. So,
wow.
What a finish! What a finish from Cardenas to set up a match ball. Well, 6 match balls.
And just takes the one. So a pretty immaculate performance, you have to say, from Cardenas. He really didn't set a foot wrong that entire match. He showed exactly why he's got the squash capabilities of beating the likes of Yao. So 3 games to love, under 50 minutes. So a very, very good performance from Leonel Cardenas. He comes through 11-7, 11-4, 11-4. And he's through to the final here in Detroit. Well, there you see confirmation of the first semi-final. Leonel Cardenas overcoming Yao, 3 games to love. So he's into his final here tomorrow in Detroit. And next on court, in just a couple of minutes' time, we're going to see the Egyptian Ali Abou Eleinen, the number 4 seed, taking on Coll, the 2nd seed of New Zealand. So don't go anywhere. They're going to be on momentarily.
Welcome back, folks, to everybody tuning in here for the semi-finals day of the DR21 Motor City Open in Detroit. We've just seen an absolutely brilliant performance from Leonel Cardenas, taking down number 3 seed Eain in pretty straightforward fashion. So we know that he's sitting pretty in tomorrow's final, and he'll be licking his lips at the prospect of a big battle between these two players, which is Abou Eleinen, Egyptian number 4 seed, taking on number 2 seed Coll of New Zealand. It's got the makings of a cracker, and I'm joined by Nicole Bunyan for this
Good afternoon.
second semi.
/ good evening, Paul.
Yes, well, as you mentioned earlier, Nicole, I am coming through live from New Zealand, where the sun is shining and it's just approaching lunchtime, so great to have a match like this to look forward to. I'll be honest, Abou Eleinen is a player that I've not seen much of, but just looking at his track record, he's a man on a mission this year. He's at his career highest ranking of 13. Plenty to offer by all accounts. Come through a couple of 3-1 battles so far this tournament against a couple of his compatriots. Yahya El Nouassani, 37 minutes, and then Mohamed El Shabini, slightly tougher, 49-minute match. But as I say, what a year he's had so far. A couple of huge wins, most notably against Mustafa Asal at the US Open, taking that one in 4 games, and he's also beaten Victor Kwan and Tarek Momen at the Silicon Valley. So he obviously enjoys playing on American soil, and he'll be looking forward to getting stuck in against Coll, who's never actually played before. Well, Coll is the number 2 seed, but as we know, Diego Elias did pull out before the tournament even started, so Coll became the favourite to pick up the title here. Elias got an unbelievable record here. I think he potentially won the last 3 or 4 events, so opens the door for Coll. Not that Coll wouldn't have fancied a battle against Elias, but has become the favourite here. Lost in the final last year, and Coll not really set the season on fire by his standards. I do feel that the best is yet to come from the Kiwi, and he'll certainly be looking at the next 2 days as an opportunity to get a title in the bank and create a bit of momentum as we head into the second part of the season. He's got a couple of big events coming up, first of all on his home soil here in New Zealand, and then straight across to the Australian Open. So busy time ahead for the Kiwi, and as I say, he'll be looking to have some positives to carry him through to those platinum and diamond events that are coming up as well. It's been a tough route though. 87 minutes it took him to get past Jonah Bryant, and then last night, wow, what a match that was against Dimitri Steinman. Saved 3 match balls in the 4th game, eventually came through in a 5-setter, so spent a huge amount of time on court over 2 matches. He's been out there for nearly 3 hours, so certainly got some work in his legs.
Yeah, absolutely. And after a reasonable run at TOC as well, it's no shortage of match time, is it, for Paul Coll so far in 2025?
It's great to hear in the background. There's a real buzz about the place there in Detroit. Plenty of supporters in. As I say, neither player, well, it goes without saying, neither player have played each other before. It'd be a bit odd if one of them had played the other one before and the other one hadn't.
Turn that into a riddle of sorts, Paul.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm sure both players will have spent many an hour analysing each other's games, especially over the last day or so.
Yeah, most certainly. Paul Coll will be well aware of the dangers that Eleinen possesses, which he does. We're going to see in a minute. He's a very busy player, extremely dynamic, super explosive.
Well, there we go. Eleinen gets us underway here in the semi-final clash. We were talking about being nice and busy, Nicole. Just waste no time jumping onto that forehand volley and stunning it stone dead into that front forehand corner.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely outrageous. As your first attacking shot of the match. You're saying in the intro, Paul, that Eleinen does well on U.S. soil. I think that part of that is because he's actually spent a lot of time here. He went to high school in the U.S. and then he also played at Penn. So they have some decent, probably have some decent support here, actually.
Yeah, home from home. So does he still base himself in the United States, Nicole, or is he back in Egypt?
No, he's in Egypt now. Yeah, he's just spent a lot of time over here. So Paul, given the fact that, or perhaps even despite the fact that Coll is an extremely well-conditioned and physical player, how do you think that those last couple of brutal marathons are going to play into his legs and his tactics here in the semi-final?
Yeah, it's a good question, but I think it's widely known that he's got plenty of brutal matches in him before he starts to sort of fade away. I think that he'll be, I don't think that'll be a factor in his mind. He'll be well and truly recovered and prepared. Just noticed as we were waiting for the players to come on court, on that court to the right, he was doing some ghosting there in his warm-up. Certainly looked pretty sharp. You notice that he's got a bit of a strapping on his knee, though. I don't know what. Hopefully, that's nothing for him to be too worried about. And it's just there for preventative measures.
Yeah, I saw him last week at the TOC. He was practicing at one of the clubs, and I saw it. I actually saw his knee, and it was looking pretty raw. He'd skinned it, and he was trying to let it breathe. And I thought, you might want to put a Band-Aid on that. It doesn't look that happy. Hopefully he took my advice, but yeah, it's probably just bandaged up in case he skins it again. As we know, he likes to dive, and the knees can take a bit of a beating, so it's probably preventative as much as protective.
Well, he's really stepped up this last few points, Coll. He's really fired up, and I mean, there's a shot a few points ago where he sent the ball down that forehand side wall. Such pace. Eleinen never even set off from the tee zone. So good response after going a couple points down.
Yeah, he's going to have to be proactive, Paul Coll. A couple of good widths from Coll.
There, that was the perfect width. Rolling out the neck.
that's the ideal start as well, to take the wind out of the sails of a very aggressive player, isn't it? Just kind of stifle them at the back.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there, Nicole. Just like I always do. But taking the wind out of the sails of somebody like Abou Eleinen, we know he's had some big wins. He's come through fairly unscathed, especially compared to Coll's route through to the semi-final here. He's definitely going to be fired up for this and believing that he can cause an upset against the number 2 seed. So Coll's number 1 job, as you beautifully put it, is to take the wind out of his sails. Just get him having a few question marks in his mind, and that's got to be classed as an unforced error, really. Went for the cross-court lob, put it out of court on the front wall. So Coll just seems to be starving him of time on the board, doesn't he? Everything's happening nice and quickly from the Kiwi. Taking the ball across the short line as he does, keeping pace on the ball.
Yeah, and he's closing the court down nicely as well. He's playing at a quick pace, but he's not giving Eleinen much to work with.
That's very clever. You saw there is a huge head fake as he played that backhand volley. Whole body turned as if it had gone cross court. Eleinen knew nothing about it.
I think last week at TOC, Curran did that to Coll. And so he's probably logged that one in the bank, probably went away and practiced it.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, great length. Lovely touch there from the Egyptian. Getting let out quite a big yell there. Trying to get himself fired up and close down this pretty significant lead that the Kiwis created, and that's a poor error really from Coll. Under no pressure there whatsoever. Oh dear. Well, a couple of freebies there for Eleinen. Ball's got to be pretty stingy now, and that's got to be classed as an unforced error as well. The ball spraying off the side wall. He's really opened the door here.
Yeah, the momentum's completely shifted, hasn't it? Coll was looking really settled, up 7-2, and then just kind of lost his structure a little bit, perhaps just getting a little too excited. And that's going to have to be a stroke as well. So in pretty quick fashion now, Eleinen seemingly out of nowhere has leveled up. And now look at the urgency in Eleinen's body language. He's absolutely chomping at the bit to get on to the next ball.
Yeah, complete role reversal here at 7-2. Coll looked like he was seeing it like a beach ball. Really getting that racket head through the ball with such belief and confidence, and then he's just gone edgy. just gone edgy. A couple of forced ones that clipped the tin, and then a couple of snatch drives that have sprayed out and given away strokes. So it's not Eleinen who's winning these points, it's Coll who's losing them.
No, it's such a fine balance of being proactive and trying to play quickly, isn't it? If you just mistime it, then obviously you click the tin, or you get those strokes like he did. But the issue for Coll is that they all happened in very, very quick succession, right? It was a very, very quick run in about 20, 30 seconds, I think. And now Eleinen's got the lead.
I really took his space there. The lob from Coll dropped way too short. Continues to make a real match here. That's 7 unanswered points now from Eleinen. Nicole, I'm sorry to have to ask you this, but can you just correct me if I'm pronouncing his surname correctly?
I've heard it 2 different ways. I think what most people say is Eleinen, but I've heard as well that it's Eleinen. So I'm actually going to have to confirm it with him. I know, in person. So
well, neither of those were the way I was saying it.
I was going to tell you after the fact when it was too late.
We'll go with Eleinen. Well, that was a much needed point there from Coll. Can he rescue this game? In a real seesaw affair.
Yeah, it's just been a game of 2 halves, hasn't it?
Oh, that's very tidy. Loves it on that backhand volley, Paul Coll. But he just very subtly stuns that ball in. Very uncomfortable area to send Eleinen into. Taking his time before he kicks this next rally off, because it's pretty edgy, pretty tense out there.
Yeah, he's done well to recover from that mid-stage where he just kind of went a little wayward. Well, right on cue there, as you said, Paul. A bit more edginess coming from Coll. Just pulling that backhand drive upon himself.
Just glued it to the wall and forced the error that time from Coll. You could hear the racket catching the side wall. Brilliant backhand straight ball there from Eleinen to get that opening game in the bank. It didn't feel like it was massive in duration for an 11-9 game, but it was Eleinen came back from 7-2 down there. Very impressive stuff from him, but Coll got a bit of work to do here. He needs to steady the ship and tidy up. Way too many errors and strokes given away after taking such a big lead. So it's game on here. Eleinen leads by 1-0. Eleinen kicks us off in the second game. He'll be feeling on top of the world after the way that first game unfolded.
Yeah, he really got out of jail, didn't he? Coll was pretty much in cruise control, dominating proceedings throughout most of that first game. And as he said early on, he'd found some really good length, and he completely took the wind out of Eleinen's sails, and then just kind of gave the wind right back to him. We're going to be on a slew of nautical themes, I think, this evening, Paul.
Yeah, I've never heard that saying used before, but it does definitely work. Coll put the wind back into his sails, didn't he?
Found a good headwind. Or tailwind, rather.
Well, we know that Paul Coll is made of tough stuff. He'll not be panicking and getting too down on himself. There's a lot of work on his mental side of the game. He'll be more than capable of putting that out of his mind and focusing on just steadying the ship. There's another one, nautical theme.
We'll get a bingo card out at some point. Big power coming from Coll on that forehand side. Yeah, and that's the accumulation of the pressure, isn't it? We don't usually see Coll hit the ball quite so hard on the forehand. It seems like this is something a little different that he's brought here tonight.
Yeah, something that we are used to seeing is that weaponry across that backhand volley. Saw him dispatch one in that first game as well. When it comes through there at shoulder height, it's quite capable of just finishing it stone dead in the blink of an eye. Rally over. Oh, that's a great volley drop from the Egyptian though. I think he's a little bit fortunate for me there, Nicole. It looked to me as if the ball was long gone by the time he asked.
Yeah, it looked like the ball was passed, didn't it? Didn't clip the sidewall. Eleinen was going to struggle, I think, to get his racket on the end of that one. But no video reviews, of course, so probably would have been one that Coll might have reviewed. He's reading that one early, isn't he, Eleinen? He's absolutely leaping onto the forehand volley.
Again, I think he's been a little bit hard done by on that one, so that maybe levels it out a bit. Not the best of drop shots from where I'm standing from Coll.
No, didn't look like there was
side wall
enough
and popped out.
clearance there as well.
That's a stunning finish, really, from Eain. Coll really dragged him into that front corner, but the counter drop was so soft. Oh, that was a snatch. Snatch from the Egyptian. Another great start from Coll. Can he capitalise this time?
Oh, wow. What a
casually
counter
done.
drop. I mean, that cannot have been any more casual. It was a pretty good kill from Coll. Incredible ball control from Eleinen to be able to soften that one into the front right corner. Well, what are your thoughts on that one there, Paul? Big contact, but quality shot from Coll.
It was quality. It was that, real power, raw power down that forehand wall that you alluded to earlier on, Nicole. Eleinen maybe felt like Coll had left his body in the line that he wanted to move through. Always difficult, isn't it, when you can't watch it again? That was pretty impressive from Eleinen. It's almost Mazen Heshem-esque, wasn't it? The twirly backswing and then just stunning it into the front.
It just looks like he's tweaked his knee or his ankle there upon colliding a little bit with Coll.
Well, it's looking to the referee as if there's something untoward with Coll's movement. For me, he just sort of stood his ground and executed the volley. I don't think there's anything wrong with the movement of Coll there, if that's what he is suggesting.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a good spot from Coll. He took it in quickly. It's a loose shot from Eleinen. Can you hear the crowd?
Somebody like that one. Wow. Oh, what a shot. That is lovely. He's right over the top of that ball, Coll. Almost hit it downwards into the neck. Got the angle absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's been a much improved second game from Coll, isn't it? Kind of back to what he was doing when he gained that 5-point lead in the first game. He's cut out the errors, cut out those strokes as well.
Yeah, 100%. That's a lovely straight ball from Eleinen. But yeah, just on what you were saying there, Nicole, it's been a good response from the Kiwi. But I'll tell you something, he will be making sure that he keeps his eye on the ball here, based on what happened in the first.
Yeah, if he doesn't take the ball in with quality, Coll, he's getting punished pretty quickly, isn't he? So he's just
certainly is.
Wary.
Yeah, that's something that definitely, absolutely, that's exactly what I'm seeing as well. I've been really impressed by Eleinen's ability to just nudge that ball back in, just dink it back in with such deft touch. So it's a tricky place to be for Coll. If he's going in short, he has to back himself and put it in with quality.
Well, again, Eleinen's having a little look back at the ref there. He feels like he wasn't given access, but unfortunately for him, Coll took that ball right across the tee, didn't he? Completely closed the court down.
There it is again. Delicate. Got Coll on the run.
Tough stuff. This is a brutal rally.
This has been the rally of the match. It's been the best rally of the match so far. There's some great variations of height, pace, some unbelievable movements. Been given a let there, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been a cheap stroke for me. Space. Plenty of space.
Well, after all that intensity, everyone can kind of breathe a little sigh of relief now, catch your breath.
Oh, what about that? That was an incredible get.
That was amazing. I mean, Paul Coll pretty much taxied Eleinen, didn't he? I don't know how he got his racket on the end of that one.
And just get his racket on it, but take it in so accurately.
So a bit of a dangerous scoreline here.
Yes, definitely still pretty close. No chance of either player relaxing out there. I was just saying there, Nicole, it's the referee's been given a little bit to do here. Sounds like Roy Gingell.
Yeah, I think it must be Roy.
Oh, it's a great shot. Coll was heading for the cross court, but it was perfect. Straight ball there from Eleinen. Straight down the line.
Yeah, lovely
Closes it down to
body
2
position.
now. Oh,
Oh, still the ball's coming back though from Coll. This is outrageous squash.
well, I did feel there, Nicole, that there was a little bit of a movement from Coll after he'd played that volley. I think it probably was a fair argument from... well, not that Eleinen was arguing, actually. He basically stayed very quiet there, but Roy Gingell very clearly saying that Coll needed to allow a line through for Eleinen. But anyway, that is ancient history, as Coll now has 3 game balls to pull level at 1-1.
Yeah, a bit more interaction with the refs so far this game. Well, it was a very clever hold from Eleinen, wasn't it? Just held it long enough so that Paul Coll had to commit forwards and then just kind of softly punched it deep.
Yeah, it's clever. It's one of the most subtle skills in the game of squash. Just holding that racket head speed or just delaying the swing slightly can really put your opponent's movement into a tangle. Yeah, great finish. It's a lovely finish that from Coll. Seen it multiple times in this match. Backhand volley, straight as an arrow. Be breathing a sigh of relief there to get that all-important last point on the board, as Eleinen was closing down once again. So it's a long second game, 19 minutes. It's the number 2 seed Paul Coll takes it 11-8, and we're now locked in at 1 game all. Well, it's certainly been a real tussle so far, as we mentioned earlier. No previous encounters between these two. It's been nip and tuck, although one pattern we have seen in these opening 2 games is that Coll's come out stronger.
Yeah, Coll's had the better starts, hasn't he? In the beginning stages, he's been proactive, but he's just been doing a good job of containing Eleinen, and then usually tends to be a little bit of a fight back from the Egyptian.
Well, that's tidy again into that front backhand corner. Coll's had a lot of joy taking the ball in there this match so far. Wow. There's another. This time comes back.
I mean, this is a real treat for the crowd there to watch. They've been pretty enthusiastic, haven't they? I'm sure on a Friday night they're having a few beverages and really enjoying the quality of this match.
Yeah, it's a real treat for them. I'm sure it's a tournament that they look forward to every year. It's been going a long time. This event always attracts the very top players in the world. So they'll be wanting this match and this tournament to last as long as it can, but as you say, the quality of the squash has been great. One thing I've noticed, Nicole, is Coll just seems to struggle to read Eleinen from that sort of back forehand corner. I've noticed it a couple of times when he's given something loose in that back of the service box. Coll's not really known which way to turn at times.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple times, haven't we? I think that Eleinen comes in pretty open, and it looks kind of like he could go cross court, and then he's able to straighten it out. That's a big miss. That's a bread and butter position for Coll. Eleinen's livid with himself. He knows that that was not the target that he was aiming for.
Oh, that's a badly timed unforced error from the Egyptian, really. There's no real need to go for that, was there? I think what Roy Ginjal said there was exactly what I was about to say, Nicole. If you look at the quality, or the lack of quality, of the shot from Eleinen, he put the ball virtually on the tee. In fact, that Coll turned and played a backhand drop from that position meant it was going to be a long way around for him, but as Roy Ginjal said, it was his own poor shot that caused the issue. And Coll's very quickly turned this round now, got his nose in front again.
Yeah, I think that forehand error from Eleinen was a crucial mistake, because that was really a point where he could have tried to build some momentum in this third game.
Yeah, and it was on the back of Coll making a poor error as well, so kind of gave it back to him, really.
Well, Well, it's a bit of a taste of his own medicine, isn't it? Coll's been so successful with that backhand kill all match, and now it's Eleinen's turn to return the favor. Sense that Eleinen is just bubbling beneath the service. He's about to go on a rampage here, I think. Well, he's done really well to get around that, hasn't he, Eleinen? Well, Paul, as Coll hit that, there was a little bit of a movement, which Eleinen did. He's just pointing to his hip. He feels that there was a little bit of a hip check, and Eleinen actually did really well to go around and play that, and because he did, Coll was kind of left stranded, wasn't he? And he wasn't able to pick, wasn't able to read Eleinen's counter.
Yeah, it was a lovely little touch from Eleinen. Coll was seemed bemused by the fact that he was getting a word in the ear from Roy Ginjal there. Pretty sure he said, yeah, but he won the rally, but that's kind of beside the point, isn't it?
It's a furious and unrelenting pace, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big part of the match, really. What are we going to get here? Stroke? No let? What's that mean? It's a no let.
Yeah, I think that rolled, I have to say. That was... I mean, if that didn't roll, it was certainly going to be a stroke for Eleinen, but perfect execution by Coll. Had to be that good.
Oh, wonderful hands again at that back corner this time from Eleinen.
Well, Eleinen will count that as an unforced error, but that's just because of the sheer pressure that Coll was putting on him with his movement and retrieval capabilities in that rally. Just feel the pressure building and building as the rally went on. Coll just having a little look back, just making sure there wasn't any contest from Eleinen. Didn't do anything wrong there, just took the ball nice and early.
Oh, this match is starting to get up there duration-wise already now, considering that we're still only locked in at 1 game all. What do you know about the physical capabilities of Eleinen, Nicole? Is he capable of staying with Coll physically, do you think?
Yeah, I think that he is. Especially, I would say, considering that Coll's already had a couple of marathons in his legs, I do think that that's going to help level the playing field a little bit. Because in terms of, I think, like the match speed and, you know, these sorts of rallies, I think he's going to be fine. I don't know about backing matches up throughout a tournament, right? So maybe that's something that Coll's had years of experience doing. And that's why we're seeing him still move today like, you know, he's a fresh spring chicken. Because he won't be too phased by those battles, as you said. But I don't think we're gonna see a big drop off physically from Eleinen. If anything, I think it's gonna be more of a mental frustration, perhaps. If Coll just
especially
really hard to beat.
Yeah, and it'd be a big blow to him if Coll can get this third game over the line. You saw that previous rally. That's a good minute or so ago now, but Eleinen went for that little cheeky cross-court backhand flick. Coll knew nothing about it. It hit the tin, and then he's put another one into the tin to hand Coll 3 game balls for the 2-1 lead. Oh, you could see as soon as it left his racket, he put too much on it. Sent the ball way too wide and with too much pace there, Coll. It's a shot you don't see him miss very often. He does like to use the lob both as an attacking and defensive weapon, but that time straight into the netting on that left side wall. That's 1 game ball saved from Eleinen.
Well, he's having a word with the ref, isn't he, Eleinen? But not going to have any joy here. That was a very, very well-timed forehand volley drop.
Yeah, and it's
from
I
Coll.
didn't actually catch the decision. I couldn't hear it, but we can hear that there's continuing discussions between Eleinen and Roy Ginjal there. But it is the number 2 seed, Paul Coll. He's not having it his own way out there. He's helped along by a couple of errors in some big points there from Eleinen, but Coll's staying strong. They're approaching the hour mark as the number 2 seed takes a 2-1 lead here. Entertaining stuff. So Coll leads by 2-1 here in this last semi-final. Eleinen just seemed to be losing his composure a little bit at the end of that third game. You could hear some discussion between himself and the match referee. Clearly unhappy with the movement of Coll, but he has to find a way to put that out of his mind. That's a clever long trickle boast there from Coll. Looks like he's just winded himself there and straight into the back of his opponent. What do you think, Nicole? Is there a way back for Eleinen here?
I mean, I do think it's possible, but he really needs to make sure that he closes the court down and that he's really careful about his crosses and his width through the middle, because he was just getting picked off by Coll around the middle, wasn't he? And then he was complaining about the traffic issues, which sometimes were there and sometimes they weren't really, just because the quality of the shot from Eleinen was poor. So, and that error from the back as well, that's him. He's trying to find answers, isn't he? Kind of grasping at straws, looking to make something happen, but Coll's the one that's got the better, more sound structure in play at the minute. Nothing he takes on is hugely high risk. It's a good spot from Eleinen. Eleinen's certainly not going to go away without a fight. That's for sure. But I do think he needs to be careful about kind of maybe keeping a lid on his emotions a little bit. You know, I think that as he started to get agitated with decisions and such, that resulted in a few of those errors at the back end.
Yeah, it's good pressure from the Egyptian. Really stepping up and taking stuff on. He's not really missed too much in this match. The ones that he has missed have come at bad times, I feel. And that is just completely pummeled into the neck there from Coll. It was not the best serve, straight into the strings of the Kiwi's racket. Yeah, it's great work. Oh, he's just managed to survive the onslaught there, Coll. Eleinen making the court huge for him. Yeah, nice.
Such a tough shot to play, that forehand counter drop. We see players use it a lot on the backhand side, but it's really hard to get in there and have, I think, the hip and the foot position to be able to square the racket face up like that and keep it tight, like Eleinen was able to. I'd say Eleinen actually utilizes the forehand drop a lot more than most players do, actually.
Yeah, he's got great hands. As I mentioned earlier in the match, that's one thing that stood out to me, is if anything goes into those front corners and it's not 100% irretrievable, it can... there's another great finish. Not necessarily at full stretch that time, but what I was trying to sort of explain there is when he's at full stretch and under pressure, he can still send that ball back with interest and just really take it in extremely short. That's well straightened by Coll. Chance. Yeah, nicely done. Clever, really. Clever little angle there from Coll.
Yeah, nice addition he's made to his game. Very difficult shot to pick up and shot to read.
And again, Coll's just not seeing that forehand, is he? He keeps moving for the cross court as the ball's sailing straight down the forehand. Brilliant. Very slick. Just got Eleinen completely stuck to the floor there. All he could do was watch the ball disappear.
Well, it's about 12 yalas from Eleinen. Looking to make a massive push, and rightly so. At this stage of the match, it's really got his back against the wall now, the Egyptian. He does need to make a big response.
Yeah, it's now or never. He would not want to see any daylight appear on the scoreboard. And it's not just the fact he's closed the scoreboard down, it was the shot he played was fantastic. Backhand boast. Look how tight that is. The ball's still stuck to the side wall.
Yeah, a bit of a smile from Coll. He knows that Eleinen, I feel, was probably a little lucky to get that one. He would have hit that if it wasn't so tight.
Oh,
Oh, it's a counter drop masterclass.
crowd are loving it.
Yeah, this is a hard rally. This is tough and dynamic.
Oh,
Terrific finish by Coll. Taste of Eleinen's own medicine with that forehand counter drop.
no daylight on the scoreboard really appearing for either player in this fourth game. You can see this one going to the wire, Nicole.
Yeah, it's exactly what you would expect, wouldn't it? Or isn't it? Both players not wanting to give an inch. Yeah, good decision, I think. Just a bit of traffic, bit of contributed interference.
Yeah, lovely finish from Coll. This time it's the forehand volley. Oh, it's gone for that cross-court nick from very high in the air there. The ball's almost behind his body. It was a massively risky thing to try. Coll tidies it up, and then that daylight I was talking about has now appeared for Coll.
Yeah, Coll's been the mentally tougher in this mid-stage, hasn't he? He's not strayed from his game plan. He's just kind of been slowly pressuring Eleinen into giving him something to work with, and then tidying up nicely. Like that. There you go.
Business-like performance, really, from Coll. Seems like a lifetime ago now when he basically threw the first game away. He's not allowed that to rattle him, it wouldn't seem. He's got his head down, worked hard. Been impressive from Eleinen, but maybe just starting to... Oh, well, he maybe could hear what I was about to say. I was just going to say it was fading away, but... He rockets that one into the neck. Is there another twist in the tail here in this second men's semi-final? Still got a bit of work to do.
Coll can't believe it.
Well, it looked like a pretty irretrievable drop to me. Well, here we go. 4 match balls now for the number 2 seed. The second year running to make a final appearance here in Detroit.
tensions continue to rise. Coll will no doubt be relieved to get over the finish line if he can convert here in the next couple of rallies. I have to say, there's as you predicted, Paul, there's absolutely zero signs of fatigue in Coll's legs, are there? He's still moving like a dream, just as well now as he was at the beginning of the match.
He's had a lot of joy with that backhand volley throughout the match. Quite fitting. That fires another one off to get it across the line. It was certainly not straightforward there for the Kiwi. Great tournament for Eleinen. Good deep, look at that. 68 minutes as Coll celebrates to the crowd. Sounds like he's a popular winner. You can hear him yelping away in the background there. Kiwi's pretty happy with his efforts there. First game was a little bit ropey after leading 7-2. Manages to get the job done there in 4 games. 68 minutes it took him. Coll takes it 9-11, 11-8, 11-8, 11-6. So we'll be seeing Coll in tomorrow's final as these youngsters come on to clean the court. Let's have a look at how the points were spread in that 4th game there. When we were locked in at 5-all, it seemed like we still had a real battle on our hands, but Coll broke away and never really looked back.
Yeah, it was a terrific match, wasn't it, Paul? A lot of very open 4-corner squash at times. Very, very dynamic, interesting contrast between the two. Very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was the contrast between the 2 semi-finals, really. Leonel, Cardenas. What about that performance from him as he dispatched Eain, the number 3 seed, in straight games? He looked like he was on cloud 9 in that match, full of confidence, and he'll be relishing the opportunity to take on Coll, who's come through another brutal affair there. So it's really quite an intriguing final that we've got to look forward to tomorrow here in Detroit. As I've mentioned, it is Coll's 2nd year in the row to appear in the final. He lost to a very impressive Diego Elias this time last year, who's not featured in the event. So he'll be looking to go one better against the Mexican. Well, it will be a 5:30 p.m. local time final tomorrow. And as we've seen there, the Mexican Leonel Cardenas will be taking on the number 2 seed Coll. Myself and Nicole will be back for that final men's match. So join us tomorrow at 5:30 local time. We'll look forward to bringing you a great final. So it's good evening from us.